pieces of chaos we needed coming in. We didn't get in the Big 12 championship because Texas Tech won convincingly there. The second part of the conversation was Alabama, because if they go into the SEC championship game and they get blown. All right, thank you very much, Laura and Holly. So I want to start from the Georgia perspective of this, because as the quarterback in the room and the receiver was not going to get the ball today because the quarterback was getting pressured all afternoon. Georgia's defensive plan was absolutely brilliant today, and they had no shot, Alabama.
A true masterclass by Glenn Shulman. And, I mean, this front, not even with the secondary, the linebackers, everybody was always in position to make a play. And even early in that game in the first half, Williams going, and then when you had drops, it started to compound. So third down wasn't great for Alabama, but truly a great job overall by this Georgia defense.
They have 3 of 14 on third downs, and that first time around is 13 of 19 on third downs. And EJ, even on the first play, there was a guy wide open.
Yep.
And quarterback-wise, the quarterback just has to know where to go with the ball right now. Every offense, every play has an answer for a blitz.
Yeah.
Now, the key is they're going to send blitzes from different places, but you got to know where the ball comes out to. Ty Simpson never looked comfortable in this game at all. The part I liked a little bit in the third quarter, they just started to take a shot down the field when they sent the blitz.
Yep.
They didn't make the play, but the plays were there to be made. Give your best playmakers a chance to make a play versus the blitz versus man-to-man coverage. This is the first time all season long we've seen the receivers of Alabama not come through for their offense and make those plays, but those are better decisions. Just get it out of your hands as opposed to taking sacks or throwing balls in harm's way.
This Georgia defense has been completely different since the Ole Miss game. They are a national championship level defense. They are playing that good, and they are finally SEC champions when taking on Alabama. So you look at that, back-to-back for the first time in program history, outright SEC champions. Last year and this year. Last year they beat Texas. This year they get their nemesis Alabama. So Kirby Smart has his program right where he wants it, headed into the college football playoff. The committee, again, now listen, on a normal Saturday, they're watching multiple games. This is the only show in town during the 4 o'clock window. So this committee was looking at the 9th-ranked team in the country, watch what they were doing against Alabama in a game that ultimately ended up being a 28-7 blowout in favor of Georgia. So now the conversation I think everyone's waiting to have, because this was the first bit of the chaos we needed for a wild selection Sunday, and it's that Alabama. One, I think all of us came into Saturday believing you should not be punished for playing in a conference championship game. However, BYU beat down against Texas Tech, and in this case, the conversation piece, Alabama getting blown out against Georgia. Joey, where do you stand?
I stand the same place I stood when the game started. The teams that are playing in championship games on this weekend, in my opinion, and believe me, this doesn't have any names attached to it. Doesn't matter who the team is that's playing versus the team that's not playing. If you play on this day, I don't believe you should be penalized versus teams that are not playing on this day. So as they're sitting there and they're watching these games, you know who they're not watching play? Miami, Notre Dame, Vandy,
Ole Miss,
Texas.
Yep.
They're not watching those teams play.
Sure.
And so when you watch these games, what are you comparing that to? Because you're not seeing the teams that aren't playing. I don't change my opinion of if you play in these championship games, should you be punished? This leads to, I don't want to play. Like, say
That's
Alabama,
where
Alabama literally should have said, why would we go play this game if we can only be punished? We're not going to be rewarded. We're already inside the bracket. So where's the reward versus where's the punishment?
The part that makes it tough, though, Joey, is the fact that now this is a third loss for Alabama. So technically, if they're re-racking, which is what Hunter Yurachek said they were going to do next week, re-rack and rank the top 25, well, now you're looking at a 3-loss Alabama versus a 2-loss Alabama that you now can't say is the same as Miami or Notre Dame, which are some teams that didn't play
Bama didn't play
this weekend.
Say Bama
then
didn't
Bama
play.
would have been safe. I agree. And it was Texas A&M that played.
Okay,
and therein is the argument for me.
I agree.
In these
I hear what you're saying.
situations,
Yeah.
you're playing an extra game that really there's no benefit to doing. If BYU were to win, they get in.
And Texas Tech
They weren't going to get in if they didn't win. Alabama was already inside the bracket. There's really no benefit for them.
Now, for you, is there a way you lose? If this game's a game-winning field goal for Georgia and it's 31-28, Georgia comes out with it in a classic SEC championship, then we're saying, okay, those are two really good football teams and they both belong in. But in this game, there was clearly a team that was superior to the other, and it wasn't even close.
And you know who they were better than also? The teams that didn't play. And so I'm comparing it to the teams that I'm seeing in the bracket already there. I am not comparing it to the teams I didn't get a chance to see play. And that's why I'm saying if you want to value this weekend, you cannot punish teams that are playing versus teams that are not playing, because now I'm not playing.
Yeah, but as athletes, we all look at those games and say, well, they got beat down, though, right? Like, Alabama did not look like the same Alabama that we've seen for the majority of this season. And then what's start going to happen is the conversation where they lost to Florida State, they lost to Oklahoma. You know what I mean? Like, then the conversation
which is already
starts
done
to happen.
before today.
Correct.
It's baked in.
That's what seeps back into the conversation, especially when you have some teams knocking on the door like Notre Dame and Miami.
Okay, so they're 9 right now, Alabama.
Yes.
Do you even think they deserve to drop? Or are you going to slot them at 9?
And that's the same thing I was saying about BYU when we start talking about BYU dropping in comparison to the Notre Dame and Miami situation, putting those teams together. Once again, the idea of dropping a team that plays for a conference championship, comparing them to 2 teams that didn't play at all.
Right.
They didn't
One
get
of them's not
in.
even in a conference.
Exactly. They didn't get in. I don't think that's the way it should be done. I'm not saying that the committee won't do that.
Right.
I'm saying if I was in the room, that's the way I would look at it.
Look,
it's tough. It's hard. It's tough.
Yeah.
And there's one more game to go, ACC championship game, where we could really have a problem on Sunday, which I think all of us that like entertainment.
Right.
We're not rooting for anybody, but we like to be entertained. We weren't really entertained in the Big 12 championship game. This is a rematch between BYU and Texas Tech, and an automatic bid for the Border Conference. And the 12th win for Texas Tech breaks a tie for its most in single-season wins in program history. To the victor goes the interview.
Ben, congratulations.
Well, there might be some suspense with Alabama, maybe Miami, maybe Notre Dame. We'll see what happens in the ACC championship. There's zero suspense when it comes to Texas Tech in the Big 12. They will be one of the top 4 seeds. They will be getting a bye. So now that we know that, where do you put their chances in this bracket of going on a run?
I like Texas Tech a lot. I think they're a really good football team. I think they're playing with a lot of confidence. And I think they needed this game to show, because so much talk wasn't about Texas Tech because they were going to get in. The conversation was about BYU. If BYU wins, they could get in, but Texas Tech was going to be in either way. And they still came out and dominated in this game and getting themselves a first-round bye, and they'll be inside the top 4. It'll be fun to watch. Texas Tech, and the way they're playing, the way their defense is playing, they held BYU to right around 200 yards. But the key is they held them to around 50, 60 rush yards. And coming in, you knew BYU had to run the football to beat.
Interceptions, you got a linebacker potentially getting an invite to New York City. And Jacob Rodriguez and how great he's been playing this season. Got David Bailey, one of the best sackers in the Big 12, not even just in college football. So tell you what, they're playing with a lot of confidence, and they believe in themselves, and they know that they're a good football
And I would
team.
tell you, too, with Texas Tech, the offensive Baron Morton, he was hurt early on in the year. He's able to get back and get healthy. They got to be careful because backup quarterback Will Hammond, he's out for the year.
Oh, true.
He's out for the year with a torn ACL. So they've got about 3 to 4 weeks to get healthy. But for me, it's Texas Tech's defense. I think they can hang with any defense.
I agree, and creating the 4 turnovers in this game was huge. Really closing the door on BYU. Like I mentioned, it was a 1-score game late in the 3rd quarter, and then it was that string of turnovers that ended it.
All right, we still got 2 championship games left to play. You've got 1 versus 2, Indiana and Ohio State. You've got the champs. They've got the swagger. They've got the trophy. They got everything. And then there's little old Indiana that's trying to prove everybody wrong. We'll give you a Big Ten championship preview when we return. Plus, the ACC. Chandler Morris has been a revelation for Virginia since he transferred in. Can he do it one more time against Duke and head to the college football playoff? So much at stake for both Ohio State and Indiana. Look, they're both going to be in the college football playoff. We know that. But a Heisman Trophy could be on the line tonight. The quarterbacks, Fernando Mendoza, most passing touchdowns in FBS. Julian Sand, highest completion percentage in FBS at 78.9%. All of this is to say that quarterbacks are going to be good, and we expect this game to be even better.
The Big Ten championship game. The final 2 undefeated teams face off, Indiana and Ohio State.
I think every young kid dreams of playing in a championship game.
Of course, the emotions are going to be through the roof.
We're playing for hardware now.
Second throws over the middle. It's caught. Touchdown, Ohio State.
He's a gunslinger. He's going to put the ball in the right place.
He's the best quarterback in the nation.
We haven't won the Big Ten here since 2020. Our goal is to get to Indianapolis and win the Big Ten championship.
It's pretty simple. I win. Ohio State, last year's national champ, a team that's really not been challenged hardly at all.
These guys are in the way of what we want.
I've won an SEC championship, I've won a national championship, but I've never won a Big Ten championship.
Indiana! Indiana!
A lot of these games is opportunities to